My people, what up, though? We back with another episode of All Black Men Need Therapy. My name is Chief.
And I'm Bell.
My name is Ekik Nerp in the groove, Lay Wap. That's my full name backwards.
That's crazy.
It really is.
I think you're lying though.
Say it one more time.
Ekik Nerp in the groove, Lay Wap.
Oh, your whole name, first, middle, and last.
Yes, sir. Known that shit since like 8th grade.
I don't know why, but you heard Ekik
Ekik Nerp, get it right, bud.
Ekik Nerp. My bad.
Ekik
Nerp. Prentice, backwards. Ekik Nerp.
I'm not wrong. Trust me.
You're right about it.
Yeah, you got it.
That's a start though.
Don't do that again. How about that?
Hey, man, it's an original start to an episode.
No doubt. No doubt.
Why are you working?
Cause I don't want it in front of me so I can, you know what I'm saying? Like, can I live? Anywho.
I wonder how many people are listening right now. Like these niggas already.
Can't never get it together, right? Yo, we back with another episode. We are back in the studio in Gallery 66 in New Britain, Connecticut. Our exhibit curated by Miss Adrienne Elliott.
Shout out to Adrienne.
Shout out to Adrienne. Shout out to Dap. She's good people, man. And this art is actually around pieces of the town. So every artist, I believe, is from the town or either has art derived from the town, which is kind of dope. The pieces behind us are from, I believe this is Sheila Dalzio. Sheila is spelled S-H-E-E-L-A-G-H. I think it's Sheila. That's kind of dope, though, if it is Sheila. I hope I'm saying it right. It's like Sheila, right? S-H-E-E-L-A-G-H.
And what else would it be? Sheila?
I mean, you never know.
Sheila.
It's just them Sheila.
Sheila?
We don't want to be right. Yeah, it's not Sheila's joint right here. But nah, it's a far way to say it. And Mark Tegmeyer. I'm messing my name, but I'm sorry, but there's either two artworks behind us, you know what I'm saying? But we want to give them a shout out. Two artworks. Two pieces of art, two artworks. It's works of art, two works of art, you know what I'm saying? No. Hey, man,
Look, get my name right.
What are you talking about?
Oh.
Anyways, let's get to it, y'all. Let's get to it. Go ahead, man. What's up? Check in. How you feeling?
That's funny. I'm a feeling. Today's my daughter's birthday.
Shout out to birthday, baby.
Yep.
I FaceTimed today. I was gonna let Prentice talk to her, but she was laying. I said, "You're supposed to be on the beach in the bathing, so you in the bed in the bottom."
Yeah, no, she's on the beach though.
Yeah,
She's in Puerto Rico.
No, yeah, I know.
Yeah, she just, you know. Shout out to her too for putting her mental wellness first. Like she went to Puerto Rico by herself.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, she's just out there chilling. She be doing that. She takes trips by herself all the time.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so she's just out there cooling. Chase's birthday was on Monday.
Happy birthday, nephew.
Yeah, that was
Happy birthday, dude.
Yeah, man, we went to the Fire Museum. That's where his party was in Boston, and it was lit for them kids. I ain't gonna front, like they got a chance to put on little fire jackets, and they simulated a real fire alarm. And it was all like sleep on the floor, and the alarm went up, and they got up and grabbed the water hose, put the fire out. Like it was dope. It was a good time. Yeah, that's really it, man. I'm good.
That's what's up. B, check in, fam.
Man, Tahir's birthday is on Monday, so shout out to all the birthdays for our children. You know,
That's your next teenager.
Yeah, he's gonna be 13, man. So that's been heavy on my mind lately. Like, damn, this dude is about to turn 13, man. So happy early birthday to my boy. Traveling for the last 2 days in San Diego. Shout out to the wonderful kids at the Aspen Challenge. And the Aspen Institute out here in Connecticut. Tomorrow got a show in Texas, so I'm moving around a lot, on a lot of airplanes, keeping it going.
That's what's up. Yeah, man. I'm on my end. I'm good, happy. Shout out to Mira Mesa High School in San Diego.
Hey, our peoples.
You know what I mean? For winning the Aspen Challenge. Felt like a proud dad watching them win, you know what I'm saying? The fellas and I flew out and kind of, helped them curate their, not curate, we didn't do much of it. Just kind of
just gave them a little inspiration.
Listen and prompted them or pushed them to kind of push themselves, but it was dope, and I was just super glad to see them win, man. So it felt real good. Outside of that, I'm excited. My shorty got 3 games tomorrow. Pick up my boys, they go cheer for me. It's always dope, you know what I mean?
What they doing? Who was skiing? Major? No.
Major both.
So what they doing in the summer?
Both snowboard. Snowboard. Nothing. Yeah, I want to sign snowboard. T-ball. I think I was too late.
Yo, I told you I'm taking Chase to jiu-jitsu tomorrow.
No, you didn't tell me.
Yeah.
Nah, that's what's up.
Sign him up.
Go karate chop the hell out of somebody.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt
Be a
too.
ninja. Yeah, sit your ninja ass down.
You gonna be sleepy. You go chop Hadouken.
It's gonna be all your fault.
Word. But all is well, man. Let's jump right into it. Get this out the way. So we were supposed to do this episode in March.
March 23rd.
Yeah, we went to the Morehouse came, but it shifted. And I wanted to talk about communication. And all of us do it essentially for a living. You know what I'm saying? We communicate with people and have to navigate, through people, whatever. But I got into a little discussion, and I mentioned it before on the podcast, but I wanted to talk about it more because I've really been like sitting down with it and trying to process and really assess how I communicate. And the reality of it is, I believe I'm a good communicator. I believe I can articulate my points well and get it across. When I heard this quote, it kind of had me sitting back assessing. I'm like, yo, I communicate for a living. I talk to people all the time. I'm on stages all over the place. And the quote was, those who think everything is an argument lack communication skills, and those who think everything is an attack lack accountability. And I'm sitting there going, damn, like, I kind of do feel like, because everything is an attack. I'm always like, yeah, I'm not about to argue with you. Like, I'm always like, I call it protecting my peace.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm about to argue with you. Like, get out of here. I don't got to deal with that shit. You know what I'm saying? So when
I was wondering where you was going with this.
So when I sit back with it, I'm like, nigga, are you, like, you claim to be a good communicator, but isn't part of being a good communicator being able to communicate in the midst of tension? Mm-hmm. When shit gets tense, I don't want to talk about it no more. I'm like, no, like, you disrupted my peace. I don't want to, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm in that zone. Like, I don't want to talk about that. Like, I'm not doing it anymore. So I always like find myself like, nah, I'm not arguing with this person. I'm not doing that.
Right.
But the reality is like, do I not know how to communicate well enough in tension? You dig what I'm saying?
I would argue, I don't know that that's the communication. And maybe it is. I'm just thinking, this is the first time I'm hearing you say this, so I'm thinking out loud. The attack piece is interesting. Because when you said those,
say that part again. What was that part again? About the attack?
Those who think everything is an attack lack communication.
My bad, man.
Communication skills.
And those who
think
argue.
everything. Those who think everything. No, those who think everything is an attack. Wait. Those who think everything is an argument lack communication skills, and those who think everything is an attack lack accountability.
Okay. So when you first said that, I'm like, why is he? Wow, not why is he saying that, but I'm like, how did that? I was just trying to understand, like, what from that made you feel like you like communication skills, but then you said, I'm not dealing with that. You do that a lot,
Right?
Yeah. So
right.
that's why I'm like, oh, does he look at it as an attack?
Because not an attack, argument. The first thing is the argument. Like, those who think everything is an argument lack communication skills, and I do be feeling like, yeah, I'm not about to argue with you. Like, I'm not about to go through that with you. You know what I'm saying? Attack, I'm not, like, I can accept the accountability thing, but I'm like, argument, like, I'm always feeling like there's tension, like, y'all gotta deal with that. I'm not dealing with that. You know
so
what I'm saying?
do what?
I dead it. I don't talk about it. When I feel it getting tense, ain't nothing to talk about no more.
My question would be, how or why do you continue to find yourself in tense conversations?
Well, again, I don't think it's necessarily, I don't think the conversation is tense. I think it's my perception.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's all about your perception.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
so what I'm saying is, the other person can be like potentially furious because they're not arguing with you nor attacking you, and you're just not even willing to entertain them.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is, I can't believe that every single person is looking to intentionally have an argument.
And I'm not saying it's every single person. I just know when shit in my world gets tense with somebody, but I feel like it's turning into an argument. I don't want to talk anymore.
I know, but I'm trying to go like a step or two before that. I guess what I'm saying is, how do you find yourself in tense situations?
I'm thinking maybe, and I get your question and answer, but maybe it's really perception. Like maybe it's not even real life tense shit.
Perfect.
You know what I'm saying?
So why are we perceived?
Right.
Where's the perceived tension coming from?
And it could be just dialed up from the past when when, like, okay, for example, in an insecure relationship at one point, it's where you going, who you with, blah, 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 these accusations, right? So when you leave that and go to something that's relatively healthy, when they ask me where I'm going, I'm like,
Triggered.
why are you asking all these questions? Now I'm triggered. You know what I'm saying? And it took me a while to realize, like, damn, nigga, she just want to know what you're doing today. You know what I'm saying? Like, where are you going today? Rather than being like, what makes you going this week? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I hear in my head. So with that, I think, like, I've come to this space where it's weird. Because even as like that situation, like, think about it. How much do you remember me saying that day? The day when the chaos happened?
At your house?
Yeah, I didn't say much.
No, well, that shit was concerning.
I didn't say much, but I was quiet, and I didn't want to argue. I just kind of navigated to different places.
You got to the end of it.
Right.
You concluded it. That was it.
But and I'm just like, why? So that's why I'm here, like, talking to my guys. Like, why do I feel like everything, or whenever it gets tense, it doesn't even matter. Like, maybe a disagreement about something. It's like, think about it, even with you, when we go to say, I'm like, all right. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right. It's not like, nigga, I don't talk about it, but you see me, I'm like, all right, you got it.
I know. I've said this about you, and I said this about you. It's something about, and I'm sure I got it too. I can't identify it right now. Actually, I can't identify it. It has nothing to do with communication. But with both of you, I feel like this shit always finds y'all. Different things.
What do you mean?
I think it's more so me being like the empath that I am and just being hypersensitive to shit.
What always finds us?
Like tension.
No. Is that what you mean?
I think it's different for him. His is different. Mine is more so like the dude at Morehouse. No, Morehouse. I'm not talking about that. I'm done with that. Morehouse. When and y'all was on, matter of fact, let's talk about that. Y'all niggas was on me like about.
I wasn't there, so I wasn't on
you was in the episode, because I remember listening to the episode being like, damn, this nigga, like, we always talk about celebrating your wins. I'm like, yo, this is a win for me, bro. Because a little while ago, I had a spasm on homie. True. You know what I'm saying? True. I'm like,
what did I say?
When you was like, why are you still deliberating on that? Like, why is that still bothering you? Like, it's not really bothering me. It pissed me off, and I hadn't gotten over it internally. But I could have made a scene, snapped on old boy, made it different. I'm like, that's a win for me. But y'all, both of y'all.
No,
I was like, yo, why is it bothering you? He's in his feelings. I'm like, yo, like, this is how I process.
No, this is.
I gotta listen again.
This is part of my question, where I said some of these things find you guys.
That's wrong. Yeah.
So part of my question is, it's almost like, and I'm going to use this phrase, and I don't mean it deliberately, almost like you're looking for trouble. And let me just explain. It's almost like nobody gets the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody gets the benefit of the doubt. It's like you're looking, and again, I'm just speaking in general. Like, you're looking for, there's something going on that it does not take much to set it off.
So before I let you go, so that's the thing. You look at it like that, but my set it off ain't me sitting here going, damn, that pissed me off.
Yeah, your set it off is 8 levels above.
Yeah, I'm like, that shit pissed me off. That's what I did the whole time at Morehouse. That shit, I ain't like that. That shit pissed me off.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is, regardless of how you respond, whatever it is in that moment, you no longer have control. Let me explain, because you're going to say, I could have did this, I could have did that, but my point is that instance, whatever it is, has now taken over your emotion. Now, you may not spaz, but it's still festering. So now that person, that incident, that individual is now in control of your emotions. And that's what I'm saying. Now, do I let more things slide? Then maybe I should, potentially, right? And that's a whole nother conversation. But as a result, like, everything, and I'm not saying everything for you, I'm saying everything doesn't bother me. Like, everything's not an argument. Everything's not I don't harbor something is not, I'm not harboring, and I'm not allowing an entity to impact it.
And that's the difference between you and I. How you handle things and what you look past, I may not. What I look past, you may not. And I think a lot of it has to do with the expectations I put on people. And we talked about that too. Like, I have this thing in my head where everybody should just be a fucking good person. You know what I'm saying? And when they're not, it's like bothersome to me.
But bro, that's not real life.
I understand that. And I'm working through that. But what I'm saying is, Before, I'm spazzing. Now, I'm just processing internally. It takes me a minute to get over my shit.
I get what both of y'all are saying.
So what I'm saying is, all right. So here's I'm trying to say it in a way to help you understand that, like, in those instances, no matter what they are, little, small, large, tall, you are no longer in control. That's what I'm saying.
I beg to differ, but I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, like you're not. Like if something that someone did is not allowing you to get past it, they're in control of your emotion.
To be fair, though, and I'll say this, I understand both spaces you're coming from, but to be fair, if it's a process in like the growth process of taking conflict, I think you have to still give grace, right? Like there are levels to the progress of it. Like if you take what both of you guys are saying, you're saying that you're not responding the same way you used to respond. And Bill, you're saying, but nigga, you're still not in control because you're letting it sit and it's still impacting you to a way where it can be an hour later and it's still on your mind and your brain. And you're saying, yeah, it's still on my mind and my brain, but I'm not reacting and responding to something.
And just real quick, and that's not fair to whomever you're in that space with. So if you're
why?
I'm explaining, hypothetically, you're out with a lady, something happens, similar to the Morehouse situation. You're emotionally not there because you're processing that, so you can't be everything that you intended to be with her in that moment. And what I'm saying is, when there's no control over who you allow to do that to, your emotions are in peril because it doesn't matter what happens.
But again, it's not like it's not to the extreme where I feel like you perceive it to be. Like, am I not allowed to process through my feelings?
You are, but what happens when it continues? Like, you can't control what other people do to you, only how you respond, which is what you've done.
And did I not? What was my response?
Right.
I know. I'm giving you credit.
No,
I'm giving you credit for it.
I hear you.
But what I'm saying is, I'm just saying, if everybody can get to you, like, how do you navigate that?
This would be my question though. Like, how can you expect somebody to just simply not allow stuff to get to them? Because y'all know me, right? Like, shit be getting to me, right? So if I'm putting myself in Chief's shoes, if I get on the phone with one of my kids' moms and she says some shit.
For the record, I think that's a totally different situation.
Do you?
Because in my opinion, no one can get you more infuriated than the mother of your child.
Got it. Okay. But I'm speaking in general though. Like, I'm using that as an example because anybody can impact you. If I am able to show a different level of growth and maturity in my response, right? Why can't I just get the credit for that and have to still be told that you're allowing that person to impact you because it's still on my brain? And is it okay if he's on a date with a chick, something happens and he's on the date and it's impacting him, but he's still able to converse at the table. He's still able to be present in the date and not allow her to feel like something's been taken away from their time and space. Is that not okay? And if internally it's still fucking.
Is that not what happened? Because it was bothering me for a while.
We got through an episode with no problem. I think we did great.
We got through an episode with no problem.
Mm-hmm. I'm not talking, just to be clear, I'm not talking about the incident, any incident. I'm talking about how is it possible, or why is it possible that these insignificant people in your life can have such a profound effect on your emotions?
So I don't think the effect is so profound. However, I do think, based off of the conversations we've had, that me and the expectations I place on people is just common courtesy. So that day, I'll give you the story. That day, we needed a gentleman to open up a closet to get us some stuff for the film for the podcast, a table, a couple of chairs, right? So there was another chair that we didn't get out of there, and the door had been locked. So he sends somebody else up, I think it was his son, up, and I'm like, yeah, could you mind if we get back in the closet, grab that one chair? And then he's like, I don't know, I gotta ask my pop, I gotta ask the dude. So he goes upstairs and he asks him, he comes back like 20 minutes later, like, yeah, we ain't got nothing else. And I'm just like, nigga, I know the chair is in there. The door was just open.
Yeah, it was unnecessary.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, all right, cool. And that was my response. But then I'm like, that shit wasn't cool, man. I could have been like, I saw the shit in there, open the door. You know what I'm saying?
Or Or you could have been like, nah, maybe we don't understand. We're here for a reason to perform. We were told that these will be available to us, and I'm just looking to get what was told to us.
Mookie said that.
But he's talking about you.
I'm talking about you. I'm saying you went with, I could have went with,
No,
but there's multiple ways you could have
as that
responded.
happened, when he said that, Mookie responded with that, and I was like, all right, cool.
Did he eat your chair?
No!
I mean, how did I sit down?
We need another chair for Mookie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I think the point in that is, and I think you've been doing better. So this ain't one of those
And
episodes
this is
where
not
we get on- this ain't one of
good
the
versus bad.
episodes.
It's the root cause.
I acknowledge that you are doing better. I think what you're saying, Bill, is that because you know now, and we've acknowledged that you can just be like, all right, forget it. There's different ways you can be like, all right, forget it, right? And even though you handled it differently and processed it differently, getting through it, by not finding a different, and we're talking about communication, this is just me trying to assess it, by not finding a different way to communicate to him, it may be an area you can focus on to be like, okay, next time, let me not shut down like I did. You handled it differently internally and expressed it like you kept it in pocket so you could do what you needed to do, which was progress. Now maybe the next step is speaking up and working on the communication for yourself.
So you know, right. So in this particular moment, using that particular instance, like the tone he used,
Didn't like it.
him saying, "Oh, like we ain't got nothing else."
Right, didn't like that shit.
Like, my man, I'm asking for a chair.
Right.
Unlock the door. I'm gonna grab the chair. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, yo, why can't you give me a chair that I saw that I know is in there?
Uh-huh.
You dig what I'm saying? So like, why the fuck is money acting like that?
So I think what Bell is saying, like the next step for you specifically is figuring out how, when them moments come, rather than shutting down, how do you work on your communication skills in that moment?
And that's the
you know, we're going back
that's
to
what's going on. So
Right.
again, I didn't treat it as an argument, but I'm like, yo, like I didn't like. There's no, again, the expectation I place on people. Like common courtesy is almost like a lost art nowadays. Like, fam, I was very polite. I know it's in there. Can you unlock the door, please?
Mm-hmm.
Nah, we ain't got nothing else.
So you didn't treat it like an argument, which is great, but you also didn't treat it as an opportunity to communicate.
Yeah.
Again, in that particular moment, when he said what he said, Mookie was like, yeah, well, I think it was like your dad opened it for us last time. We just gotta get a chair out of there.
Yeah, it's not this ain't a blame thing at all.
No,
this is
it's
just
not.
an area of identifying where I won't say we, because I don't want to make this like a you thing, where we in a specific situation can try something new the next time around. Like I know for me, it's funny this topic came up. I'm not trying to flip, but I realized recently that I fucking suck at communicating outside of poetry. But I am not good at this shit. And because I'm so fucking amazing at doing that shit, you know, I'll be talking all the time. My superpower is my ability to articulate my feelings and express them. I think I've been giving myself way too much fucking credit because I'm so good at doing that shit with writing. Because outside of that shit, I am not fucking good at that shit.
Yo, you know the analogy I just thought about? It's like drawing up a football play. Like, yeah, block this person, touchdown. And then you run the play. And it don't go the way it's on the paper.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things happen the way it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But it don't go the way it's supposed to. I think in this particular case, Chief, the reason why I talk about one, you identified about yourself. I think that the benefit of being able to communicate is it could potentially allow you to resolve whatever the misunderstanding.
Right.
And not necessarily that situation, I'm saying in general.
In most situations where tension comes my way, there is a resolve. It just doesn't happen in the moment. I step back, I process, and then when I feel the person is calm enough, we go back and we have a calm conversation. When voices get raised, I don't want to talk no more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that.
I think that's a skill set we got to
very
learn.
uncomfortable for me, yo, because I know me, and I'd rather save myself from myself than to engage in that argument. And I'm like, okay, well, it's not an argument. Now, my brother, it wasn't an argument, bro. Like, you could have just talked through a disagreement or misunderstanding and navigate your way through it like you always do. Because I'm not really like I don't know, I don't really yell anymore. You know, but it's just like I don't like people yelling at me. And when it happens, I'm like, it's like a trigger. Because when it happened before, it's fast.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Are people yelling because they don't feel you're listening or hearing them? I'm just asking a question.
And again, it's not really yelling. I just feel like when I hear the bass in the voice or the tone shift, it's kind of like, oh, why can't we just talk? Why is it going there? You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm not expecting everyone to process how I process or communicate how I communicate, but when I feel the tension coming, it's like I shut down and avoid it. When I'm very capable of processing through it, talking through it. Just don't.
Yo, it's an interesting ass conversation.
It is, man, because I'm over here thinking. So I had a situation the other day. Not really a situation.
Time out. That's exactly my thought process right there.
What?
Situation, but it's not really a situation. But it just processes it longer than I did.
Yeah, all good. So I'm gonna explain the situation. All right.
I'm good.
So I work downtown Boston, and where I park and where I work is separated by a building. So parking garage, building, my office, right? So my parking garage exit is like literally in the middle of the block. So I go out the parking garage, go right up the street, and then I would have to walk to the corner, take a left, take another left, and my building is there. What I do instead is I cut through a building. You know what I'm saying? So it's a building in the city, a building in between my office and my parking garage. I cut through the building all the time. Morning, say good morning to the security guard. And the second, when I leave around 5 something, it's always the same guy for the most part. And I always felt like he kind of looked at me a little longer. I never thought nothing of it, I just kept moving. So the last time I cut through the building, he was like, and then this is the other thing. I had a bad day at work. Like I had a presentation that I completely fumbled, completely messed it up. And I was already triggered, I was already tight. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like mad at myself. I'm walking through the building, and normally I'm on the phone. And he was like, man, you just can't keep cutting through people's buildings. He said something, I might not have, he wasn't speaking up, I might not have heard everything he said, but what I heard was you can't keep cutting through people's buildings, is what he said. So I looked at him and I was like, all right. And I just kept walking.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, I'm coming back tomorrow walking through this building.
Off top.
Like you have no story. This is not illegal. You know what I'm saying? The door's unlocked, I can walk through. And there's a Webster Bank right here. So there's nothing you can tell me. Now you may feel a way about me walking through.
But I'm walking.
But that don't mean it's wrong. And it don't mean I can't do it. And it don't mean I'm gonna stop doing it. But that was a moment. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm like, because he's insignificant to my life. So for me, what is me going back and forth with him on anything? Now, I'm not going to say that the comment didn't bother me. It did bother me. It bothered me on a number of different levels. He's a black man, I'm a black man, and the first thing I thought, I'm like, yo, white dudes walk through here all day long.
How many of
them are you stopping?
Yo.
Right? That's where I went. That's where my anger came from. But I'm like, you're insignificant to my life. And again, I'm not saying it didn't continue to bother me, like probably until I got home. But it's like, I got home and that was it.
You're better at that. I think you're better at that. And I got a two-part to this. I think one, and this is something I thought when we first started talking about this, I think part of the problem is that maybe 2 out of the 3 of us, maybe more than you, Bill, I don't even want to speak for you, but I think of the idea of finding comfort in chaos, right? Like, we have some comfortability within chaos, but like we have shit going on. We got mothers that we got to deal with where it's constant fucking chaos, and we've had to condition ourselves. And so my question, thinking about that, is how much of what we're talking about struggling with communication has to do with being conditioned because we're black men in America? I was thinking about that. There are certain things that we've learned and trained ourselves to do. Shut the fuck up, right? Like sometimes we deal with the cops. We gotta shut up and have these feelings. Sometimes we can't, when Sarai was having a baby, I could only go so far cursing out these hospital people because I knew I could get kicked out. So I had to suck that shit up. How much of that do you think affects our personal interactions and interactions with people, and we don't even realize that? because we already conditioned ourselves to an extent to shut the fuck up.
That's a very valid point. And I'll say a couple of things. One, I think I would have responded the same way. Like, all right, yeah, whatever, nigga, like something like that. I kept it pushing, and it would have bothered me till I got home.
And I would have responded on some more aggressive shit because I find comfort in chaos, and I don't want no other black man talking to me in a way that I know you don't talk to other white people, so I'm gonna say something. You get what I'm saying?
Right, but here's the thing. I would have responded similar to what Bell did, and maybe just looked at him and kept walking or in my head like, I'm gonna pull up tomorrow and wish a nigga would type thing.
Right.
But in the words of my man Bell, like, I ain't afraid of shit getting out of hand. You know what I'm saying? So like,
yeah, but is that a disadvantage?
Yeah, and why do we
to Prentice's point?
Yeah,
like, you know
and why do we automatically go there? And why is that the supportive factor for, okay, well, nigga.
Well, again, I can't tell you the last time I took it there, which is why maybe I'm still, that inner struggle. I can't tell you the last time I took it there, but it's just something that festers within me now because I probably want to take it there.
So do you think we're suppressing shit?
Oh, yes.
Like, is that growth or suppression?
No, it's suppression.
So how do we distinguish the two?
Wait, what was the first part?
Is it growth or suppression? Like, and if it's suppression, how do we distinguish growth from suppression?
Both things can be true.
True.
So it's growth on his reaction, but it's suppression on his emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right. And that's a thing. Yeah.
This shit get real quick.
No, that shit got real, and I'm glad we're having this conversation because really, that's a great way to put it. It's definitely I have an abundance of growth on how I react to shit now.
And the more long-lasting thing, though, is the fucking feelings, and we're suppressing our feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like, the response is going to be a temporary response. That moment's going to end at some point. But the feelings that we have last way fucking longer. This shit's going to make me think way more than I wanted to tonight. The feelings are going to last way longer. You know what I'm saying? So my question is, like, how... Because now I'm thinking about this shit, like, how do we distinguish between... Or how do we get the emotional component to match the physical response?
I don't know, but I just thought about something. So write down what you just said, or I'll write down what I was about. Actually, I can write down what I'm about to say and we can answer the question.
So how is that situation different than the Morehouse situation?
How was what? His parking lot?
His because a black dude, for no reason, just being like blatantly rude.
I think Bell is able to genuinely let that shit go. And I think that's the difference.
I didn't let it go. It just took me longer than it took him.
Right.
So here's my thought.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, here's my thought, though. This is just a thought. I'm not saying it's fact. I think I'm better than both of you at setting boundaries.
For yourself?
I don't give everybody access to me.
Yeah.
So because not everybody has access to me, they don't have access to my emotions. You know what I'm saying? So that's and I gotta thank my wife for that. Like I didn't listen, man. You talk about dealing with moms, dealing with all that. Everything you said I dealt with. I think the only difference that I can see, and I would love to sit down with the three of us with a therapist to see, but the only difference that I can see is I just set boundaries. So people, I don't allow people to get that close to me because I have a boundary now. So what, and I'm not saying you're doing this, what I'm saying is what I used to do is everybody had access. So everybody was of equal parts. You see what I'm saying? So there was no distinguishing. Now, obviously, my mom or Brianna's mom, if they said something, it would sting different because of who they are in my life. But I wasn't used to setting boundaries. So everybody had access. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm used to giving myself everywhere.
How'd you set those boundaries? Because I'm thinking about myself. That may be part of my problem is that as much as I say and claim and think that I'm able to regulate my emotions, I still give, and I know I've cut down, but I still give people, and this is going to transition to a different part that I'll write down so we can talk about later, but I still give people more access than I would like to me emotionally. Right? Like, and unintentionally. Like, you can do something, and I'm mad at myself that it's still fucking with me because I know it shouldn't fuck with me.
So that's the thing, man. Like, I get it being me allowing them to have access to me emotionally, but it's not really how I perceive it. It's like, it fucked with me for a minute, but I don't like give the credit to them. It's like I'm just kind of like I'm still working on my shit. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't really give the to the boundary. Like how is that applicable to me for like use the Morehouse example? Like what's the boundary there?
I don't
No,
know.
no,
I
listen.
don't
So
know.
this is what I'm saying. So you asked the question first. How do you I forgot exactly. But basically, what I heard was how do you set boundaries? Basically, is what I heard.
Emotionally.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I am not a resident expert at setting boundaries. Now, my wife is phenomenal about that shit. But here's what I'll say. I'll tell you why I didn't unconsciously why I didn't set boundaries. One, I didn't know boundaries were a thing. First and foremost. Two, I realized that a part of me being able to be the go-to for people felt good. It was fulfilling. That made look like the instance that it was first brought to my attention was on the week. I'm a busybody, so I'm always doing something, unless it's Sunday out later. My wife was like, we was in Connecticut a long time ago, and she was like, I was like, all right, I bet. I hung up. I'm like, all right, babe, I gotta, we weren't even married yet. I'm like, I gotta go do this. I gotta go see this person real quick. I'm gonna see this person. Then I'm gonna stop by my mom's and I'll be back. Or something like, I gotta do this for this person, do that. I gotta go pick him up. And then because she's so good at setting boundaries, listening to me overwhelmed her. And she was like, why are you doing all these things for all these people? And naturally, I was like, I'm talking about to do with my family. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was what my reaction was. But on my drive, I thought about it. I'm like, yo, I'm doing a lot. But it felt good to do it. It felt good to be needed, maybe, is another way to say it. But I'm like, that's stunting my growth. It's stunting my growth. Because now, because I'm so involved in everything impacts me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to pick this person up. They late. Now, mind you, I'm doing them a favor. They late. Now, that just threw off something else, which then will throw off something else. And then something, you see what I'm saying? Because they all have access to me. And in the moment, bro, the moment that I stop being accessible, naturally, people blame the rain. You know what I'm saying? Like, they was like, whatever. But now, bro, now I got my own shit that we all deal with. But I'm at peace, bro. Like, I am at peace. I created physical boundaries and I created emotional boundaries. And again, I needed somebody to bring that to my attention. But you don't know what you don't know.
So in the spirit of the topic of the episode, did you communicate with those people you set those boundaries for? Or did you just not communicate?
No.
Let that serve as communication?
Exactly. Because here's the other thing. Once you set it, they'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, once you stop doing everything for that person, guess what? They'll magically figure out how to get it done by themselves. And then they'll realize that they didn't need you as much as they thought. So everybody wins. But the consequence to not setting that is they'll never develop that skill as it pertains to whatever that situation is. Like, my mom would always call me for money. Always, and I would always give it to her. The moment I stopped, she started making more money she's ever made. You know what I'm saying? It's and you want, again, it felt good. Taking care of my mom, it felt good. But at the end of the day, if I kept taking care of her, I wouldn't be where I am right now. She wouldn't be where she is right now.
It sucks though when that's not the result though. Like, if I look at, setting the boundaries with my parents, right? Like, there are some things that y'all have violated me in certain ways that I'm simply not cool with. I try to approach and communicate, and that doesn't happen. I set my boundaries, and now setting those boundaries culminates in this season of seeing no growth on the other side. And then having to kind of accept the fact that, like, I don't have that testimony in that sense, right? Like, I stopped allowing certain behavior and things to happen to me, right? So I set my boundaries there. And one thing that's interesting is now I'm realizing that a lot of my boundaries I've set over the past going on years since, sending Justice back to his mom is that a lot of my new boundaries have been based upon trauma. Like a lot of my new boundaries that I've set for myself have been based upon traumatic experiences that force me to set boundaries in order to protect myself. So I don't know if these new boundaries, and now I'm on some real, I don't know if I'm going too far on these emotional boundaries now because I had to cut myself off with the shit with Justice in order to preserve my well-being. But it's kind of like a trauma bond experience. Like it's the trauma of what could potentially happen with that whole situation that has me realizing that new boundaries need to be set, right? But I'm not necessarily setting them out of self awareness. You know what I mean? Like it took
them out of necessity.
Out of necessity rather than voluntary, rather than taking those steps to be like, okay, this is going to be hard, but this is what I need to do. This is a boundary I need to set. I'm not doing it that way. I'm doing it because something fucking traumatic happened where I had to make a decision, and set boundaries because shit was being blatantly violated. So now I'm setting boundaries with you. I'm putting cases on all y'all motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's a difference there when it's trauma induced, and I'm realizing in this conversation that the boundaries I've been setting over the past almost year have been based upon self-preservation, not necessarily self-development and awareness, I am growing as a result of it. I know I am, but I'd much rather set them from a space of, yo, this shit is going to be hard, but I got to do this.
Yeah, but bro, what they say, you can't see the picture when you're in the frame? You know what I'm saying? So it's I would imagine Sarai would be able to see where boundaries need to be set before you can see it in your own personal.
Yeah.
Right? Because she's not in the frame. Mm-hmm. And vice versa. Now, whether you or her speak up about it, that's a whole different conversation. But in terms of recognizing it, I do believe that she'll be able to recognize it for you faster and you'll be able to recognize it for her faster.
So what do we do on the communication part? And I'm starting to think to myself, do we, and I'm using me, and I want y'all to chime in, but maybe I need to do some more communicating with myself than I do other people in regards to my boundaries.
Exactly what I was about to say.
Maybe I need to talk to me more than be so concerned about talking to other people about my boundaries. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense.
So I was for you too.
But that's literally what I do.
Is communicate with yourself.
Yes. Because I wanted to spaz on old boy that said, hey, man, it wasn't cool.
No,
I'm thinking longer. I'm thinking longer term. I wasn't saying this for you. I was saying it for me. But if applicable to you, I'm saying longer term, beyond the motherfucker with the attitude at Morehouse. Is there something about what we tell ourselves outside of the moment that continues to have us being stagnant, however we're stagnant? Your thing, you completely shut down. My thing is, I think I'm communicating, but I'm not doing that shit well at all. I'm usually angry. I'm usually mad. My feelings are hurt, and I'm not saying my feelings are hurt. I'm saying something else as a result of hurt feelings. You may be shutting down and saying it's not a big deal. What is it that we are and aren't telling ourselves in order to get us past this next hump so we show more growth and development? There's nothing wrong with handling it in the moment better, but for our own sake, and I say there is something wrong with us continuing to stay the same in a sense. You know what I'm saying? We're growing,
yes,
but there's more we can do, and we're still staying the same. Nigga, if you're still shutting shit down but not spazzing, okay, cool. You're not spazzing, but let's talk about this shutting shit down. Are you communicating on behalf of yourself? Are you advocating on behalf of yourself more than you were previously?
And that's why we're having a conversation, because I realized in intense moments, I shut down. Think about it. If we go back to the Morehouse example, what did I do? I didn't talk to homeboy, and I sat because I didn't want to go off the deep end.
Not that. Forget that situation. In general, let's go back to your original quote. You feel you're not a communicator because you perceive things as arguments. As an argument. So why do you perceive all these things as arguments?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Go to
The root.
to the root of it.
I think to Prentice's point, at one point there was comfort in chaos.
Okay, that's the start. Now that's
No,
effective
for sure.
communication.
Yeah.
That's where we are.
There was comfort in chaos. I think because I don't typically, again, I really think it boils down to the expectations I put on people and how I expect the golden rule to be applied in all cases, and it's not.
Can I just chime in 1 second? Could we, all of us, be telling ourselves a story to avoid dealing with the real issue?
I gotta be doing that shit. Yes.
I wish I'm going to process and try to identify what the real issue is.
Because here's why I say that real quick. You're smart enough to know that that's not a real reality.
What is it?
Like, you expecting everyone to respond and act how you think they should act.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
Like,
So
that's
leaning
not,
on that narrative.
Yeah.
I get what you're
Is
saying.
that you leaning on that?
In order.
Is that absolving you from doing the work?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I'm doing it. I'm literally doing it.
But we're not at the root. And that's what I'm saying. We're not at the root. Like, because we keep saying, well, they should act how I want them to act. I'm expecting them to act how I want them to act. But we know that's not true. Or not a reality.
I think how I want them to act is a stretch. It's more so how I would treat them.
Regardless.
Right, yeah,
Either way,
yeah,
it's a stretch.
yeah.
Since you've known me, have you seen me raise my voice to anybody?
No.
You seen me black on anybody?
Here's a hot take. Maybe if you did, this wouldn't happen so much. Maybe. I don't know. You see what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, like in the sense of balance in a way. Like maybe sometimes it's necessary to learn a new normal. Maybe sometimes, I'm not saying for you, like, again, I'm not on you because I'm thinking about myself really when I'm saying this shit. It just applies to both of us. I don't know how to say my feelings are hurt when my feelings are hurt. And I'm realizing like that's probably my main problem with why I'm not effective in communicating during times of conflict outside of fucking poetry. I don't know how to say, yo, my feelings are hurt right now. Like that shit hurt my feelings. I know how to respond with hurt feelings.
And the person may not even know that they affected you the way that they did.
Because off top, I'm responding because you hurt my feelings.
And now they're responding to how you responded.
Exactly. And now we're in a whole different conversation.
Right. So I think to that point, I think I'm good at being able to tell you hurt my feelings. I didn't like that. What I think my shutdown comes from is not feeling heard. Because I sat here, I listened to you, Prentice. I heard everything you said. I validate your feelings.
How can you be heard if you shut down?
No, because I've said my piece. We're having this discussion, but I've said my piece, and it's like, and it's all about how they feel.
And you now look at that as an argument and then shut down.
It's just because, I've heard you, and again, that expectation, right? Mm-hmm. I heard you, I validate your feelings, and I'm not getting the reciprocity of that.
So where's the shutdown?
That's where my shutdown comes from.
Because you're not
I can't talk because you don't hear nothing I'm saying. It's all about what you have to say. I think that's what my shutdown. I'm okay with saying, hey, Pete, I didn't like that, fam. Think about it. The other day when we had a conversation about when I brought something, I was like, I'm not saying you did this, but
it made me feel like, I kind of feel like you,
Yeah, remember, I put it out there.
Yeah.
And we talked about it, and there was no tension in that. So being able to tell you how I feel in the moment is no problem. But when I'm not, if you were like, I'm not trying to hear what I'm saying, that's when you got it. Forget it. I can't. I think my issue that when I can't get through, that's when my shutdown.
When you feel like your communication isn't working.
Right? Yeah, but I also think it could be what your definition of get through is.
Them agreeing? Is it them agreeing? Is it them
being heard?
What does that mean, though?
I mean, we have plenty of agree to disagree conversations.
You can't.
But he heard me, and I heard him.
But that's not apples to apples, though. Like, you can't compare our relationship to not a stranger.
A more general relationship.
True. But I think,
and again, this is all personality, and I know what's gonna happen. Right after we finish this, I'm gonna find myself in all kinds of shit. But I generally don't get in a lot of arguments with people.
Me either.
in general. Like I don't. And again, maybe I'm letting too much shit slide. Maybe. I'm not saying I'm not. I don't generally get in a lot of arguments. And I think your pride sometimes in arguments, or not in arguments, discussions, like, here's my question to you. What's more important? That you're heard and the actions don't change, or you're not heard and the actions change?
Change is what we ultimately want.
What do you want?
Change.
So if the person didn't hear you, could you even get to the change?
And that's where my shutdown happens, because now you don't have an opportunity to change.
But they already about to change. You see what I'm saying? Because I'll give you a perfect example. When me and Lil Beef, right, we argue, what I need is an apology. I need an apology. I don't know if it's lawyer training or what. This motherfucker was not apologizing. Like, she just didn't apologize. In the argument, she may find something else that she's right about, but she's not apologizing about the original thing. Through therapy, what I learned was the apologies don't mean shit to her. Change behavior does. So
therefore, she doesn't give
apologies because for her, it's I'm going to change my behavior. My apology means nothing. And where I'm like, I would get in an argument with her, I'm like, I was wrong, and I would apologize. And she would pretty much dismiss it because
that's not what she's looking for.
That's not what she's looking for. You see what I'm saying? So it took us to go to therapy for me to understand. Now we both had to bend. She had to apologize to appease me and change the behavior because that's what was important to me. I had to give her an understanding of how I was going to change my behavior and apologize. Because I needed to apologize for me to make me feel like I got resolved. She didn't necessarily care that much, but as long as I added the action plan, she was cool with it.
Again, so to your point, I think it's the context of the relationship. In one, because you had an expectation of her to apologize, and she's like, fuck out of here, I'm not doing that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I think...
But it goes back to communication.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We had to communicate to understand that.
And my shortcoming is when I can't get an understanding, I shut down.
So I'm wondering, what if there's an alternative? What if the focus for you is an alternative to shutting down? Like, what if part of your focus needs to be finding a solution outside of shutting down being your primary response? Not never.
So in that, again, context of the relationship, y'all in my circle, I'm gonna find a way to figure it out with y'all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm good on you. So
wait, here's a question from a communication standpoint. When you feel like you're not being heard, how do you communicate that? In general, not specifically, but general. When you feel like you're not being heard.
I'm going back to the conversation that sparked this, but I was thinking about it. I was literally very soft-spoken, very articulate in my points, and her point held precedence. And I just wasn't trying to hear anything outside of what.
Devil's advocate. Did she feel like she was not being heard?
She could. I don't think she could have, because I was like, okay, I understand. Like,
well, how did she feel?
The therapist said, this is what you're saying, and this is what I understand. Yeah, that's it. Okay.
But she could feel like she's being patronized as a result.
And you know what? I do have a sense of patronage, not intentionally, but like the dean in me, the therapy in me, like, so what I heard you say was,
right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's to show understanding.
Right. It's all
I can see how it comes across, because like just physical stature, tone of voice, all the above, you know what I'm saying? So it's like logical size and all that. So I think that could play in it, but I'm always making sure y'all heard you. I heard exactly what you said. This is how you feel.
Well,
this is how I feel.
Here's a question. And I'll speak specifically for intimate relationships. How about you say, in an argument, what's the best way to communicate with you?
In that, again.
Ooh, yeah, I've never
and again, no. And that's the thing.
And this is because of therapy, a couple's therapy.
No. I would 100%. So here's the fucked up part about it. Just came to reality. I would 1,000,000% say, what's the best way for me to communicate that with you? And the crazy part about it is, I've let the conversation impact me so much where
You can't get there.
where I don't really care to have the conversation no more, which is weird because it impacted me where I shut down. I don't even give a fuck about how I communicate with you.
Right, I feel that. Hell
But now it's bothering me.
Yeah.
Which is strange as shit.
I'm getting somewhere.
Oh, that's so fucking
Which is
real.
strange as hell. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause now
Ooh, that's so real.
It's impacting me to the point where I want to know how to communicate with you.
But I don't give a fuck.
That's not calling me.
It's so real. Like, I care, but I don't give a fuck at the same time.
I would also argue that in the moment is the wrong time to have that.
True.
Yeah.
But that's the thing though. You've bared witness to me being like, yeah, I didn't, whatever, I'm shutting down. And after that, I don't really want to go back because you didn't take that opportunity to hear me when I was speaking to you.
Sometimes you got to, though.
Right.
Yeah.
But I
It's more suppression.
I think it's more pride than anything. Like, it's more pride than anything. And we all got pride, bro. Like, we all got pride.
This is making me think so hard, but like, you know what Sarai does after we argue? She gets quiet. I go to a different room. I don't say shit. And then she always comes up to me and she pushes me.
And it breaks the ice?
No, nigga, I get mad. I'm like, yo, I feel it and I want to be like, because I know she's playing, but then a part of me wants to stay mad because I'm looking for I'm sorry. I'm looking for her to say I'm sorry, but that's not how she does it. She likes to actively come up. That's her form of communication and trying to reestablish a line of communication physically.
Yeah.
But mine is like, when I do something wrong, I'll come back and I'll be like, I'm sorry for saying that. I was really mad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll come back and I guess that's what I'm looking for. But her way of doing it is this playful, and it's cute as hell. Like, I love it subconsciously, but I don't
not right now.
Right. Like, now isn't the time. But why is a time when somebody's trying to reconcile not the time?
I think I need to really do better with the yin and the yang. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Good to keep yakking.
Good to keep yakking. No, I need to do better with the yin and yang. And I say that because it took me back to I was interviewing a couple for a wedding I officiated last month. And I asked her what she loved most about her dude. And she said that he's too silly. Like he never takes anything seriously. When I'm mad, I want him to be mad too. But that's what she loved about him. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I think in your case, like you still wanted to be mad and wanted her to be mad, but she was, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like get over this shit. This shit ain't literally. She be like, this shit ain't strong enough for us to be not doing this. And then I have this natural, this natural inclination to,
Right.
Like a little.
Instead of like, you're right, man. You're right. Be like, I'm gonna hold on this shit for another 30 minutes.
Yeah, as long as I can, it's how I feel better.
Right. Oh damn, man, this one gonna fuck me up all night, bro. Be thinking about this shit.
No, I mean, here's what I would suggest, Chief, when you start seriously dating, is having, or maybe letting her watch this episode. You know what I'm saying? Because as much as you need to know how to communicate with her, she needs to know how to communicate with you.
This may be a great blueprint for your future.
Yeah.
Again, but here's the thing though. So in that space, I've listened to them. I've listened to y'all. I've listened to the TV. I've read the books. I've read all that doesn't really play into the actual circumstance of the situation. But I really believe that I'm in a place where I can I think the reality of it was the level of I don't know. I gotta think about it now because I don't respond that way with people in my circle, and obviously my lady would be in my circle. You know what I'm saying? I don't respond that way with people in my circle. Like I said, if we beef, we gonna find a way to process through it.
Could it be you don't respond that way to men in your circle? I'm not saying this or this.
No. I think it's just people in my circle. Like, because this situation happened was like in limbo. So it was like, all right. All right, yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I got another thought, man. I don't care. I like this conversation a lot. I don't care how long it goes. I got another thought. The title is Communicating While Healing. Sometimes, what do y'all think about the idea of sometimes it's better not to communicate while healing? And then I say that because just thinking of what I've gone through over the last year, I think there was a part of me that needed to not communicate literally in order to find a space to get to the point where I can communicate.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, that's a boundary. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I would only say this to that. Are we actively healed?
In that process of being silent?
Yeah. Like we're saying I'm not gonna speak because I'm healing, but it's like, what's the plan? Like how are we going about healing? Is it time? Like is it like I don't need to be around you for X amount of days, X amount of moments until I can get my bearings? Or is it like, nah, like, I guess how are you addressing it? I guess that's the question. Like, we can say it's okay not to communicate while healing, or it is okay to communicate while healing. But the question is, are we actively healing?
Yeah.
And again,
and how do you answer that?
For everybody is different. That's what I'm saying. But what do you need to heal? And that may just be more conversation with someone outside. That may be more time with yourself. Right? And maybe how I heal. Like I forgot it might have been the same day actually that I was having that rough day. I knew I was in a funk. Because again, it wasn't that incident with that dude, it was me dropping the ball on my meeting. So I'm like, I gotta go run. I gotta go run to heal. Because I need to get out of this mindset. So I needed to go push myself to another level to help me, I guess, let it go.
And now I'm thinking to myself, like, is that a form of communicating with yourself?
For me, it was.
Right.
For me, it
I'm
was.
talking about taking action.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about
100%.
communication, but the idea that it's not always spoken, right? Like sometimes in order to heal, we pick an activity or choose to go invest our attention somewhere else, and not necessarily in somebody else, but somewhere else. And maybe it's an act that we need to recognize. It can also be a form of like communication with self. Because I'm thinking to myself, I need to do a better job at communicating with myself than I do with somebody else when I need to hear.
100%. You need to be able to communicate what you need in that moment to be okay.
I needed the fucking chair out the closet.
Yeah. But you know what though? This is a great point. This is great. But you can't control that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you can't control what people do to you, only how you respond.
Yeah, so here's the thing. You said it earlier. You were like, there's growth in the response and suppression with the emotion.
Right?
And I can't control what he did. And my response was, okay. It was literally my response.
No.
Okay, bet.
Right. But the more you suppress it, the more it's going to continue to come up.
Yeah, so my thing is, so to your point, had I communicated what Mookie communicated and he responded the way he did, I'd have probably been triggered.
No, you could have. That wouldn't have changed the fact, though, that would have been the next stage of evolution for your journey on improving your communication skills for yourself. So you may have gotten triggered. You very well may have gotten triggered. That doesn't change that you would have done something. You would have took the next step. You would have done something different.
I want to acknowledge that because I very much so see the growth in that going, you know what, that just pissed me off. But okay, we're here to do a show and we were told that we get everything we need.
And he's like, didn't I tell you a black ass man got no more nigga? And you would have been triggered.
No, I'm not. At that point, I'm not going, you know what, let me back out from this.
That's fine. Now it's up. Look, what I'm saying is, still, you would have said, yo, man, what I'm trying to communicate to you is blah, blah, blah. You get what I'm saying? Like that's my point. That would have been the next step.
So then when I take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back, you saying?
Sometimes you make some growth and slap a nigga at the end. You know what I'm saying? Like
I still think we're not necessarily, like what I'm saying is whatever is causing that suppression in growth needs to be resolved. Mm-hmm. Like not with anybody, but with yourself, because there's something there.
That's the only person you can hold accountable. That shit is hard.
Yeah.
And we can listen, man. We all got our shit, bro. It's not a cheap thing. We all have our shit.
Well, so do neither one of you resonate with this statement? Those who think everything is an argument lack communication skills. Those who think everything is an attack lack accountability. And the irony in that is when we were having that conversation, and that's how it felt. I felt the argument, she felt the attack.
I think it could be reversed even, tell you the truth. I think it could be those who think everything is an argument, lack accountability, and those who think everything is an attack, lack communications. It can go both ways.
Yeah,
I really feel like it can.
You said, do we resonate with it? I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't resonate with it. But again, I've done a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? I've done a lot of work. So I don't look at everything as an attack. I don't look at, and I've never been told I'm a great communicator, but I've never been told I was a bad communicator either. So I don't. You have to ask me. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
if
think
I know if I'm not. I'm just saying I don't view everything as an argument, and I very rarely feel like I'm being attacked.
I don't feel like I'm being attacked. However, I do like when voices get raised or tension in the voice, I feel like it's an argument. And that's why I'm like, yo, you communicate for a living, bro. Like the coach said, you can start a knock off a meat truck, but you can't get through a conversation with Shorty.
Well, maybe the key is like, what do you like? You got to work on your argumentative.
And that's what I'm saying. I got to do better. I have to do better intention because I'd rather avoid it than talk to them.
No, I think it's you have to let people. You have to be a better communicator around what your triggers are. Because like 4 times you said when voices get raised and this, that, and the third. Here's what I would argue. If voices are being raised, here's what I would argue. I'm not saying this fact. The person raising their voice don't feel like they're being heard. That's what I would argue.
And maybe the question is like, do we care enough in that point in time to acknowledge the fact that we may be making them feel not heard?
Exactly.
Despite how we feel in that argument, that conversation, like, do we feel like, can we in that moment, like I'm twitching, think about this shit, you know what I mean? But can we in that moment be like, okay, they must not feel heard, even though I feel however I feel, can I take a different approach and accept the consequences?
Yeah, because it's like, why are you raising your voice? Because you're not fucking listening.
And it's like, you're not fucking listening to me.
Like that.
And here we go.
But this is what I'm saying. So it's like, but you're just triggered by, and we're all triggered by somebody raising their voice.
So I'm gonna double back. Remember that text message I sent you a while ago?
Mm-hmm.
Did I not? So here's the thing. Like I heard everything she said, and the argument kept going because I didn't feel like I was being heard.
The argument kept going because you feel like
you want me to tell you what I think about that? I read pride all through that text message.
From him?
Mm-hmm. All through that text message. It was like, and Lorraine read it too, like, it was, you harped on things that didn't need to be harped on. Like, it was like, no, but you need to hear this point. And I don't believe in that, if we're going to talk about that specific case, and it was a long form. I don't believe that she felt validated based on your responses.
I spent more time trying to convince her that that's not what I meant.
But it doesn't.
Right. So I'm trying to help you.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
You know what I'm saying? Right. That's what it was. Like I could have been like, you know what, I heard.
Rather than what?
You'd be like, I'm sorry, I did that.
You were trying to prove that you had no ill intent.
Exactly.
Over listening and acknowledging what she was saying?
Exactly. Because it doesn't matter what your intentions were.
Yeah.
What they say, the path to hell is paved with good intentions.
Mm.
You didn't acknowledge how that comment impacted her. Like you just kept trying to, no, it wasn't my intention, as opposed to, you know what? I didn't intend it that way. I apologize if it landed that way. I do understand how sensitive the situation is for you. So my bad.
No, I believe I did that prior to the text chain. We were on the phone. And then it went left. When I said that, then it went left. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so what I was saying when I was reading it, and I'm glad you brought that up, now it's even more fresh. You could have gracefully bowed out a long time ago. But that's why I said pride. Because it was like, oh, you just kept trying to get her to understand where you're coming from.
So here's the thing, with the text chain,
you can't, there's no
tone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just going at it. I haven't been in person, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'm good on that.
But that's the thing, it's like, there was so, and I called you and told you, I'm like, yo, you could have bowed out.
No, and I heard you.
Yeah,
and I heard you, and I learned from the conversation.
And I'm not saying you didn't. I'm just saying, like, that's, if we're going to talk about that thing, that was the one that I would argue that you weren't making her feel validated, you know what I'm saying, by you defending your stance so heavily. Because clearly your stance is the reason why you're having that conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, and whether you agree with her stance or not, you can't invalidate her feelings.
And that's the thing, okay. No, so what I was going to say is I didn't, is there a difference between invalidating them and not validating them?
Yes, because it has the same, excuse me. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Because they're not feeling heard.
Right. They both have a negative.
Yeah, they're not feeling heard. And it's like, it costs you nothing.
So I owned it and I dealt with it and I ate it, but like now we're having the same conversation. I'm not feeling heard, she's not feeling heard, so then there's no win in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when two people don't feel heard, man, it's just a repetitive cycle when you get into that.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you like this, man. The type of woman you're looking for, that will happen more often than not.
And at this point, via self-awareness, growth, and all of the above, like, and looking at shit like this and going, yo, you need to figure out how you communicate intention. Like this, it continues to prepare me for those moments.
Yeah, and I would suggest this for anybody listening. If you're in a committed, serious relationship, I would highly recommend therapy. Couples therapy. Highly recommend.
With or without problems. Now, don't go when the shit hits the fan. Like,
yeah, or if you do, cool, right? But I'm just saying, go. Like, you gotta, I believe you, and listen, shit hit the fan with us. That's why we ended up going. I was not a proponent of therapy, but because shit hit the fan, I'm like, all right, if I want to be in this relationship, I need to do my part. So from that, so much was learned. So we got, I guess what I'm saying is, sure, it doesn't matter how you get there, just get there. And now we still go. And it's like maintenance at this point. It's like an oil change.
This just hella made me check myself. I just seen Sarai text message. And I just said, all right, I'm ready or willing. Let's sign up for couples therapy.
That's bro.
She'll bring it up after an argument. And because I'm mad, I say, for what? It ain't gonna make a difference. If we can't communicate without the help of somebody else, why we, and she's always suggesting that shit, and I'm always wanting my form of communication to be the solution because I want to be able to feel like I'm in control of it.
I want to say this to you.
I already know where you go.
I want to say I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you for leveling up and growing up right here in front of us. Call me after your first therapy session. You said he was going to therapy a year ago.
I already knew that's what the fuck you were doing.
So, Sarai.
She gonna sign up though.
Sign it up and make sure he calls me after your first session. Because I'm not about to have
Nah, call after session 2.
Work.
Because session 1 is his intake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Session 2 is
session 2 my favorite number anyways. Hit me up with session 2.
Yeah.
Shout out to Shay though.
No, that's dope, man. That's dope, bro.
Yeah, she always be trying to.
You're doing the work, Mrs. Powell. You know what I'm saying? Should call her right now. Put her on the episode.
Right.
Anywho, yo, I thought that was dope, man.
Listen, it's been a long ass episode.
I don't know, but
I think it was a little over an hour, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm thankful we were able to have this conversation because we kind of shelved it when it first came up.
No, we didn't shelve it. It's just other shit was going on. We went in a direction.
Yeah, so let's close it out, man. Let's do what we do. I hope y'all really got something from this because this shit went all different kind of ways, but there was a bunch of gems and nuggets in here that you can definitely apply to your situationships in your life, in whatever relationship, whatever capacity that could be. So, P, You had the biggest revelation so far, so come on, man. Hit us with your final thoughts.
Shit, man, I'm an amazing fucking communicator with poetry.
How's it read going?
Amazing. And I'm realizing that shit has been my crutch, man. I think, like I've given myself a little too much credit because of the ability on stage and with a pen and paper, man. And I'm just not as effective in my personal life, and that's way more important than some public shit. So I gotta check myself, and after this conversation, when I get home, I have to apply. That's the hard part. So I would say my final thought is it's one thing to recognize, it's another thing, and most likely very much harder to apply. So please be very deliberate about the application of the things that you realize, because that is where the change is going to come. And I am going to be deliberate in the application. Final thought.
Oh, yeah. Your final thought.
Keep good people around you, because it's hard to see the picture when you're in the frame. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it takes somebody looking outside of you to help you understand what's going on inside you. That's a bar.
Yeah. That's heavy.
Anyway, that's my final. Just keep some people around you that's gonna continue to push you, though be it uncomfortable, push you to the best version of yourself.
Okay. That's it? No, it's actually not done.
Yeah.
See what I missed?
No, that's it. I can see how it could be interpreted a different way. Communication.
Communication.
So, a couple of key points were made. I think when you decide to set your boundaries or make your decisions, try to have it be out of self-awareness rather than self-preservation. That was a big point, because we do a lot of shit out of self-preservation and self-awareness and growth.
Yeah, we got to the breaking point.
For me, I think I'm going to apply my new normal being effective communication. I'm going to try very hard not to shut down and not give a damn no more. So that's going to be my thing. Applaud your people. And I do applaud you, bro. I think that's dope. I think it's a great step. But I want to hold you accountable, because I really want to see it happen. I think this is going to be beneficial for you. And I think the first step in couples therapy might be the catalyst to personal individual therapy.
Yes, I'm thinking too.
So I think that's dope.
Sometimes you're willing to do something for somebody else more than you are yourself.
Exactly. It's a catalyst to open the door for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And lastly, Bell mentioned it, you can't see
The picture when you're in the frame.
you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. So as difficult as it may be to hear the shit, trust the people who are looking at the picture when they tell you what they see.
Ooh.
Bar.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was dope, fellas. I'm super thankful for this conversation. I think this was dope, and we all took something from it.
Yeah.
I like this nigga, I swear to God.
Oh, why I'm thinking?
Don't touch me.
I'm like, yo, she better go find somebody to get an argument with the practice of shoe.
2 nights.
Here's the question you gotta ask yourself. Why am I able to get to you so much?
Because I love you, and I value your opinion. I know you want what's best for me, but the shit gets under my skin sometimes.
Yeah.
I really feel like you be on my heels and I want to fucking fight you sometimes. But
Yeah, that's good though.
I don't have it though.
It's in your heart, you know I'm right.
This nigga with a swing on you right now.
What movie that's from?
Go to the website.
Yo, big names.
Go to
Okay.
the website. Get you some merch. abmnt.com. We have a voice line, 860-410-6160. Email, allblackmanatherapy@gmail.com. Tap in with us. We've been getting a lot of emails lately. It's been really, really dope. If we haven't gotten back to you, I apologize. It's Prentice's fault. I'm sorry I just blamed him, but it's really not. If you want to reach out to us individually, Bell, Chief, or Prentice at abmnt.com. We get hooked individually. And that's that. Yeah, we thank y'all for tapping in. I'm super thankful. I feel really light after this episode. I feel like I grew up a little bit. And
That's dope.
I hope, people listening take these gems and nuggets in and apply them because we're doing good work, man. And I don't need necessarily y'all validation for that because we're growing, but we're getting a lot of validation from the outside, and it also feels awesome. So if you tapped in with us, man, I hope you level up as well. Per usual, do us all a favor and hug a black man today.
My name is Chief. Speaking hella smooth. Do it.
And tomorrow.
Do it. My name is Chief. Do it.
Peace.
So,
We out.